Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello and welcome to the final round of the AOR Project Cars 2 GTE League here in Germany at Oschersleben, which every German is going to tell me that's a mispronunciation, but it's the one I'm going with. I'm joined here once again, one final time for this league, hopefully not the final time ever because we really do enjoy doing these. It's all round nice guy. We won't go for the other text anymore, we'll just go for this one. All round good guy, good commentator, and best person to share this league with, JP McKinley.
Thank you very much, and well, considering that you have given me all these wonderful intros during the season, I think I have returned the favour this one. And ladies and gentlemen, I am joined with none other than the master of mayhem at turn 1, Mr. Kiki Mac.
That was very uncalled for, but I will accept every fate that I deserve. But anyway, here we are in qualifying. Let's jump into the qualifying we have here. We're following As Turbo, our current championship leader, and unless he DNFs today or has a pretty poor finish, like out of the top 10, he's basically got this championship solved. He's 40 points ahead of WMDR Martin, and the points are, first is 50 points, second gives you 44, third is 38, and then down if you're 11th it's 10 points down to 1 point in 20th. So with that in mind, any finish within the top 10 is enough for him to claim the victory. If it's outside the top 10, that's where it gets very interesting based on where WMDR Martin finishes today.
Yeah, definitely. It's still not all wrapped up, but it's very near for As Turbo. He just has to keep it really clean tonight, and he will be picking up the championship trophy.
He will indeed, and very well deserved one too. His finishes are second, first. So very consistent results there. It's no shade on WMDR Martin either. He's had a third, second. So both these guys fighting for this top position have been on the podium at every race this season between them.
Yeah, and as well as having some extremely fantastic overtakes on each other, really have proven to be the cream of the crop of this league, these two drivers. And it just goes to show that they're the only two left in contention for the championship. But that's not to take away from any of the other drivers. We have the new guy to the league, Velside, who's currently sitting third in the championship, but unfortunately can't be here tonight. But if you're watching, please let it be known in the comment section, Velside. It's a shame you can't be here, but it's good to see you all season long. You did fantastic. But apart from the top 3, who will be your standout driver, Kiki, for the season so far?
Well, the whole season. Very good question.
There's only one man I'm thinking about.
I want to say Boschfranz is one of them. Boschfranz is in my mind. He's had some great racing, some unfortunate disconnects, but Boschfranz was fighting always for top spots, but just has been really unfortunate. So that's one of my choices.
Well, for me, I would have to go with the guy 5th in the championship, Ticklish Picklewickle. Last week he finished, he had his first podium of the season in 3rd place, but all season long he's been knocking on the door trying to get onto the podium, and I've raced with him in other leagues, and obviously he's the coordinator for Project Cars 2 on the AOR platform, but yeah, he's definitely upped his game with this league, and a thoroughly well-deserved P5 in the standings.
Yeah, that's very true. He does so much work here for AOR, and it's just a huge shout out to Ticklish Picklewickle for organising this herd of drivers to get them here every week, sort out the stewards panel, and get everything running smoothly as it does. It's a lot of things happen behind the scenes that drivers don't see or spectators don't see, but a lot of work goes into it. And also Stefan Carey, who did race a couple of times, he is helps out with the organisation, so a shout out to him and anyone else in AOR that we may have missed that allows this all to run smoothly.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a fantastic season, but yeah, we're just watching current the current P2 setter Crab, P2 on the grid right now. But yeah, this is a teammate of WMDR Martin, one of the championship contenders, and he said he's been practicing a lot for this race, as he's had a lot of free time the last couple of days. So yeah, I think he might be one to watch for tonight.
He will be indeed, and we'll see if he can help WMDR Martin at all, if it gets a situation where he can hold Asturbo up and maybe allow some team orders to happen. We'll see if that can occur. We know it's happened before in AOR races between a certain Celtic Bromance duo.
It's definitely happened between the two Celtic Bromance. We definitely lost some friends when that happened. But hey, this is what teammates are for.
It is indeed, and nothing we did was unfair, so let's have that be said. But anyway, back to the action on track. We have Mozzie, who's actually half a second up right now with a 24.6, just under 24.6. So a great lap there by Mozzie. Hasn't been with us much of the season. I believe he's only finished one race and didn't start a few and disconnected from another. So. But in that race he did finish third, so to see him here tonight, he's definitely going to put some pressure on the top drivers to give us a great finish and see if Asturbo can actually get through the challenge that has been laid down of finishing this race in the top 10 when there's a lot of the fast drivers here tonight, with Ultimate Cars still here too.
Yeah, well, currently Asturbo is currently sitting in P11, so he's maybe he's not. Maybe the Ford isn't really liking this track very much, and he's really struggling, or maybe he's just hadn't had a chance to put on a decent lap. But definitely the WMDO Martin and the Ferrari is sitting P4, so he needs to gain some time as well. But Mozzie and the Porsche, currently sitting in the pits, is absolutely loving life right now, sitting in pole position. As Ultimate Kazi just crossed the line and narrowly misses taking pole position by 0.08 of a second. But yeah, it's another former race winner of the season up, looking to make his presence known for the front of the grid.
Yeah, and these guys, they're not teammates in this league, but they are both driving for the same team. I'm unsure what that team's called, but I've seen their tags on Project Cars 2, and I believe Mozzie and Ultimate Cars, they race together quite often outside of AOR too, so those two guys looking to make their names be known and try and run from the front of this grid. We see Boj Franz also joining the 124 crew, just 700ths of a second separating the top three right now. That's an insane qualifying session.
Yeah, it's definitely the track seems to be warming up, and the times are starting to tumble. But Asturbo has just put in a bit of a better lap. It's still not a fantastic lap. It's still yeah, almost 9/10 off the pole time, but it puts him up into P6. So he's just behind WMDR Martin. So yeah, at least now he has a chance of making sure of the championship. Well, better chance, anyways. But,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Asturbo approaches this race, whether he just plays it safe or whether he's going to be pushing for another win today, whether it's championship or the race that he aims for mostly, but why not both, some people will say, as he gets dropped down to P7 as Lord I don't know picks up P5 with a 125.25. We see Boj going across the line 3 seconds down, so that was not a flying lap for him.
Yeah, I think he just did a slow lap there just to try and get the tyres back.
As someone said in chat, it's not a track that a lot of people know. It is a real track, we can assure you of that. It does exist. I believe it's a Porsche test track mostly used for. What I recall. I don't know much about tracks, but that's something I believe is true. But we know that there is going to be carnage into turn 1. That's a very sharp left-hander into turn 1 with a long swooping right afterwards, and it narrows up quite a lot around that part of the track. So we could see a lot of action going into turn 1 today. It's an exciting one for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We're just going to stay on board with Lord. I don't know. I just want to stay with him till he crosses the line here. Yeah, and he is almost 4 tenths up as he just carries too much speed and he's off. And he narrowly, I was just trying to say he narrowly misses the wall, but he just grazes the wall with his front bumper. But that would have been a fantastic time. He would have been up into P4 with that time. But that's really unfortunate. But it definitely showing potential for tonight's race.
Yeah, Lord, I don't know, not been really threatening the top end of the field. He's had a couple of disconnects and a 9th and 10th. So to see him up in P5 in qualifying is a great start, and to see him with potentially front row pace, it's going to be even better for him tonight. Maybe he can grab a podium spot by the end of it.
Yeah, and here we're riding on board with Crab right now. This is what he sees as he chucks it into the right hander and now into the left hander. It's a pretty fast couple of corners. Turbo has just jumped him into P4. He sits now P5. But this is the final corner. That's the pit entry to the left. As he just turns in, a little bit of oversteer on the exit. Gets the power down. As he comes across the line, where's it going to put him? Is he going to improve? He doesn't improve.
Yeah, so Crab's still sitting in P5 for the moment. There's 1 minute 40 left, so he'll get 1 or 2 more laps as we go to too fast, getting a bit squirrely there through the S's, and gets out of the way with his lap being ruined of a GC Raider, I believe that was, coming through. Coming around the final set of corners. Very easy to invalidate your lap on those last 2 to just get a little bit wide over that line. It's very sensitive on track limits. But seem to be safe there. Let's see what he can do. Currently in P9, and he improves up to P5, knocking half a second off his time. So splitting the difference of WMDL Martin and AS Turbo. A great time there by GC Raider.
Yeah, definitely showing huge potential all season, but just throughout the season just had like little moments where we end up like dropping down through the field. But this guy definitely has huge potential.
He does. I remember saying the last race he had a good chance. Unfortunately, he only managed P12. I believe he had to take an additional pit stop than what he would have wanted. But he had a 5th, 7th GC Raider, so definitely has potential for another top 5 finish here today.
Yeah, for sure. And we're just gonna currently watch Boge Grinder, the guy sitting in P3. This guy definitely had a chance to be in contention for the championship coming into this race, but unfortunately with a little incidents throughout the season, again another man that was just kind of riddled with a little mistakes or a lot of bad luck, and it just kind of affected the points tally, and now he's just kind of sitting in P7 in the championship. But he definitely could have won at Laguna, but what can you do?
Yeah, it's part and part of online racing. Sometimes the connection gods are not on your side, and it didn't seem to be with Boge Grinder this season. But hopefully we'll see more of him next time. But let's see how he does tonight. He may be able to grab a podium before the end of the season. And he comes on the last corner. Is Aston Martin heading towards the line now? This will be his final lap, and I don't think he's going to improve when he throws it sideways like that, and he knows he isn't. So Aston Martin also not improving. Go to Crab now. Coming in P5 with a chance to improve here. He is up on his Delta too by just over 1/10 of a second, so...
Yeah, he could actually jump Martin, and if he keeps going, he could jump his teammate and take P4 right now, at least this time.
Could indeed, and if he does, I guess that means team orders are off the table, because I can't imagine WMDL Martin wanting any additional pressure laid upon him. And he does jump him up to P4, so great lap there by Crab to get himself onto the second row.
Yeah, and that was the last man to cross the finish line, because the only man left on track was WMDL Martin, and he was in the having a little picnic to himself on the infield. But yeah, the pole sitter, the Porsche, comes good at the Porsche track. Mozzie, grabs pole position. Ultimate Kazi in P2, Boys Grinder in P3, and the first of the Ferraris, Crab in P4, then WMDR Martin P5, then GC Raider in P6, Ass Turbo, the championship leader, all the way down in P7, then Lord I don't know in P8, Crumb in P9, and Too Fast in P10.
And for the final up, we have JJ in P11. Needlelap picks up P12. Exus, I believe is Mozzie's teammate, picking up P13. Gwegwin picking up P14. Ticklish Picklewickle with a fairly poor qualifying by his standards, down in 15th. Going to be a struggle for him. Blari starting in 16th, and Pole from the Badura team starting in P17.
Yeah, definitely. That was a fantastic. We didn't get to see the lap that got Mozzie the pole, but it was an absolutely fantastic time.
It's very early on in the qualifying session too. You expect the track to get faster throughout the session, but Mozzie went out there, set that quick lap, and no one else could touch it. So great time there, and you see it form up for the night race we got on our hands here. It'll be a 50-minute race from those 37 laps that we have coming up. As always, it will be a manual rolling start, so these guys will not be going on the green light. They will be doing a formation lap, and then we'll be starting the race proper when Mozzie decides to go on the next lap.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be very tense. Before the race, I was having a conversation with WMDR Martin, and I asked him how he was feeling about tonight, and he said that he was very nervous. So he feels that the championship is still there. Like everybody knows that this track can catch the best of drivers out. So he has a lot of work. But if he's going to win this, he needs to be in the top 2 at least, and hope that Ass Turbo has a terrible race. So he does need luck on his side, and he needs Ass Turbo to have a lot of bad luck. But as always, me and Kiki will be here to call all the action, and the chips will fall where they will. But we can only wish the best for every driver. We can't have preference. We just want to see the best clean racing we can see.
We do indeed, and this is a track that's a lot narrower obviously than Fuji we were at last week, and a lot more tight twisty corners, so it should be a lot more, I don't want to say chaotic, but a lot more drama possibly unfolding as people jostle for position around a track like this. Fuji, you have a lot more space to spread your cars out and give each other room, but here, given how tight and twisty it is, it can lead to a lot of miscommunication, let's say, between drivers, which can often end in a disaster for one or two. But Mozzie takes us away now for our outlap, heading down towards that turn 1. And you'll see, if people haven't seen this track before, this turn 1 is a very, very sharp left-hander, and when you got 17 cars hurtling towards it, trying to fight for those opening positions, it's going to be a very interesting one for sure.
Yeah, definitely. There is a video of a real life race where I think it's touring cars where they come into this turn 1 and they absolutely make it's like a just watching destruction derby where they absolutely just every car gets damaged, and it can very easily happen tonight. But hopefully we can get through it, as these guys are very professional in their racecraft. But again, tiny mistakes can happen, misunderstandings can happen. Sometimes you think there's guys going to leave you a gap, and sometimes that gap just kind of vanishes, and it's just as well, you just kind of need to know who you're racing. Like, you need to know if you're racing like a Max Verstappen, which he's a very aggressive driver, and he wouldn't want to let anyone past, and some of the guys are like that on this, and other guys are happy to just just basically try and have a clean race. But yeah, we're now in the back straight as we coming to the end of sector 2. This is where everybody forms up for their grid, 2 by 2, coming around into the last sector.
Yeah, so as we usually do, where's your money for this race? Where's it going this time?
Ooh, I'm going to be a bit I say controversial. Crab said he had a lot of money, or not a lot of money, but maybe he does have a lot of money. I'm gonna put my money on Crab because he said he had a lot of practice. Yeah, I've got full faith in Crab.
We'll
but they've
see
just
how
gone
that
through the last
goes.
corner. They're on the drag strip, and Mozzie has let go, and it's go, go, go as we head down to the first corner. Ultimate Kazi's tucked in the slipstream of Mozzie, going into the first corner. Mozzie takes a hair of Apex, and Ultimate Kazi still has P2, and the Ferrari of Crab is right there as well in P4, and Martin is P5. As you were, as GC Raider tries to go around the outside of WMDR Martin, but he thinks better of it, and as that WMDR Martin just hanging on to the position as Crab falls behind now to try and defend for Martin. And surely this is going to be team orders from the get-go.
It may well be indeed. A clean start by everyone there, making it round that challenging first corner for the first lap. Mozzie holding on to that lead from Ultimate Kaze, followed by Bojfrans. WMDR Martin picking up her position from his teammate Crab. And GC Raider in 6th, and As Turbo still down in 7th, not being able to capitalise from the start of this race. He's going to have to do some work throughout the race to gain those positions back. He has dropped off a little bit as well, but it's obviously only the opening lap. Anything can happen, just could be taking it careful. And someone goes flying off a Lord Idano straight off on the S's. Just seemed to be a snap oversteer there and just lost the car into the gravel trap.
Yeah, the engine in the back of these cars. Yeah, the engine in the back of the Ford just didn't like that there weight transfer as he tried to chuck it in for the right-hander. And there seems to be, Crum was another Ford driver who had the same fatality. And as we see Ticklish and Guegwin enter the pits, as there must have been a bit of a contact. But yeah, that's 4 drivers having incidents in the first lap. But Mozzie, your pole sitter, has already got a 1.5 second lead to Ultimate Kazi and sitting in P2. So yeah, Mozzie is absolutely loving these conditions right now.
He is indeed. He's doing some great pulling away here. Nearly 2 seconds, as you say, within a couple of laps here. WMDR Martin just holding on to the back of this train of Ultimate Kazi and Bojfrans. He's going to look to have to try and push his way up the order as soon as he can, because he does desperately need to get into that first or second place. So won't want to stay down here too long if it allows Mozzie to pull a bigger and bigger gap out of the front of this race.
Yeah, but his teammate of Crab has not had the best of luck on the first 2 laps, because he's sitting now in P11. We didn't catch what happened on camera, but I did see him ask Turbo get past, but I think in the sector 1 of this lap he's had another mistake, and now he's dropped back down, so we will be on a bit of a recovery drive now. But we know that the Ferrari is pretty good here, so you just got to get the car underneath him and go for the moves, because you can tell just how fast the Ferrari is, as he almost was on the back bumper of that of Needle Lap there in the Ford. But Crab must have damage as he comes into the pits already.
Yeah, some very early pit stops here, but obviously everyone needs to take a mandatory pit stop in these races, so we will see everyone enter the pit lane at least once, so at least he won't lose too much time. He'll only lose the time that it takes to repair the car, and obviously his tyres may not be in the best condition come the end of the race, but still a chance for a decent finish here for Crab, even with this early pit stop.
Yeah, definitely, but already Bojgrinder, I'm just going to try and keep on top of the time penalties. Bojgrinder has got a 1 second time penalty for track limits. So WMDL Martin or whoever's behind him come the end of the race will be trying to stay as close as possible to Bojgrinder, but we know how fast Bojgrinder is from watching him do that absolutely ludicrous display of driving. It was insane to see how fast he was at Laguna a couple of races ago.
It is indeed, but obviously those penalties won't be helping him at all, but it's a long race and anything can happen by then, so we'll have to just keep an eye, as you say, on those penalties and see what happens towards the end of the race. Mozzie's gap has stayed at 2 seconds now for the last couple of laps, so he's just feeling comfortable now with that gap and just settling into the car, and maybe Ultimate Kazi's being pushed along a bit now by Bojgrinder and Martin, just pressuring him from behind. go
Yeah,
on
we'll
board
just have
now.
a look and see how yeah. We'll just have a look to see how much work that WMDR Martins have to do in the hands of that Ferrari, as he is right behind Voice Grinder. And will he have a look coming into this left-hander in the midfield of the section of Sector 2? But he just has to back out of it. It's just not quite got the run on him.
Yeah,
But you
Bosch
can
going
see
to
he
have a
does take a lot more,
huge amount of oversteer
entry curve
through turn 3, I believe it was, but managing to keep hold of it just ahead of Martin, but has dropped a little bit off Ultimate Cars, but yeah, Martin, he's on a controller, which may explain a bit of the snappier steering inputs, but he's one of the better controller drivers that we know. And with that window wiper flapping around as well, I believe he actually drives in bonnet cam, so he doesn't get distracted by that window wiper as much as we do right now. But yeah, really throwing that Ferrari around the best he can to try and keep on the pace of Bosch Grinder and Ultimate Cars here.
Yeah, but going back to his steering inputs, do you mean you don't drive your daily car like that, Kiki? I'm pretty sure I do.
Sometimes, maybe when I go to what's the UK equivalent of going to Mexico? But well, yeah, when we go to France, I guess.
Because now it's going to get the worst of it.
But no, as we're saying, Ultimate Cars are getting very drifty around there. The track's going to be getting pretty cold here. I believe we are on a accelerated time progression here tonight. So it will get darker pretty rapidly and the track temperature will drop. So it'll be interesting to see what tyre choices come out. I imagine everyone's just going to go straight for that soft tyre when it comes to pit stops, which could explain some of the earlier pit stops. It may not have been for damage, and they may have calculated that the soft tyre is faster. And given that we are on default setups, it may be that everyone starts on a hard tyre. So we'll have to see if that was the case after the race, see if Ticklish was calculated or whether it was damage related for his pit stop. But that may be the case for some of these early pitters.
Yeah, well, Crab was one of the earlier pitters, but and if he has decided to go for that, his last lap was a 129.7, and the leader was a 126.7, and so if he has gone for the tyre change, I think he might have went for the wrong strategy because he's currently losing 3 seconds a lap to the leader. But hey, it's a long race yet. There were only 6 laps in, but we're just watching Lord I don't know come through the into the final couple of corners, and he's trying to catch that needle lap in front. There's another 4 driver. But
Needle lap pretty wide on the exit there. May have had to lift to avoid going on the gravel, which would give Lord I don't know a bit of a run now, but a bit too far down the start-finish straight. Not the longest in the world here, but plenty long enough to get some moves done, especially diving onto the inside of this turn 1. But Lord I know just closing that gap, getting right behind us. We just narrowly avoid someone there on the inside. I'm not sure who that was. Looked like it could have been a Ferrari of someone, whether that was Crab or someone else. But anyway, back to Lord I don't know, following needle up here.
yeah, the gap between these two are definitely getting smaller. But something I have noticed is that Ultimate Kazi's last lap was the first man to get into the 125s, and he is slowly starting to catch Mozzie now. He's slowly starting to bring that Porsche towards him, and yeah, I think the battle for the lead is going to hot up pretty soon.
It will indeed, and as you say, that's why Crab is also in the 125 to the 125-1, so who knows what's happening with Crab and his pace at the moment. Going from one of the slowest on track to the fastest on track, but it's just how Crab is. You never know what you're going to get with Crab.
Yeah, Crab is definitely like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get. But yeah, we're back here watching Ultimate Kazi, but I think if anything, he's dragging Bosch Grinder and WMDR Martin with him as he slowly closes the gap to Mozzie. So this is going to be a 4-way battle on this very tight and twisty track for the lead.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when it comes to pit stop strategies, whether the undercut's going to work here or overcut works here, and if Martin feels like he's being held up, does he dive in, just get an early pit stop and try and get out in some clean air, or what's going to happen with that? But that's obviously all down to the driver's decisions. They don't have a pit crew to make the decision for them, so it can be very tough on track to know when to make that call.
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing about some of these drivers have teammates and others don't. And if you have a teammate that's in the same car, and you can strategize this throughout the week, or you can even do it like in game, like during the actual race. So it kind of makes it that little bit easier. Like I was doing a race a couple of weeks ago, and it was a wet to dry. Forget about me, we got Ultimate Kazi being hounded by Boys Grinder into turn 1. Boys Grinder makes the move, goes a bit deep on the brakes, but he makes it stick. Ultimate Kazi drops to P3 and Boys Grinder up to P2, and now WMDR Martin having a look at Ultimate Kazi. He's going to be right on him, but can he make a move on him? He's just going to have to slot him behind. He's right on his back bumper.
But yeah, Ultimate Kazi just closing that door there through turn 3. But what a move there by Boys Grinder, getting it on 2 wheels over the curb into turn 1 and getting that car stopped ready for turn 2. That was a fantastic move, and he's already pulled a bit of a gap. But let's see if he can chase down Mozzie now and see how this unfolds and see how much Ultimate Kazi was holding him back here.
Yeah, Boys Grinder realises that he needs to get up the road because he does have that small time penalty. So if he does win this race on track, he will still have to pull a gap. But I don't know, Mozzie's not slow here. Mozzie's doing a fantastic job. Mozzie showed just how good he was at Laguna when he was catching Ass Turbo towards the end of the race. But yeah, Mozzie is a seasoned driver. You know, he knows how to do these races. He's a very talented driver. But yeah, he's definitely under pressure leading this race.
Yeah, it could just be some tyre conservation as well. If you got a lead like that, you can spend that delta in tyre conservation to go a bit longer in the race. But given it's only a 50-minute race with 1 pit stop, I'm not sure. I don't believe tyre change is mandatory in this though. So it could be that if you look after your tyres well enough, you can just do a quick splash and dash and get out of there to serve your pit stop.
Yeah. But we'll jump back down to Lord Idaho as the 2 Fords are still going at it. Lord Idaho and Needle Lap, P10 and P9, still going at it. Lord Idaho as the gap has pretty much stagnated at what it has been for the last couple of laps. Lord Idaho's last lap was a 27.9 and Needle Lap was a 27.8. So Needle Lap was actually pulled a tenth of a second on him in that last lap. But yeah, definitely I think these two are going to be battling it out for the entirety of the race because it seems to be quite close between them.
It does indeed. As I see a bit of a flick there over the curbs for the Ford, a bit unstable, but holds onto it, comes up towards the chicane now. Great shot through the chicane, the headlights coming towards you, they dip right then left then right again onto the back straight.
Yeah, and we'll just jump back to WMDR Martin sitting P4, and he must be starting to get frustrated because he knows that he has to get into the top 2 to have a chance of winning this. But in saying that, Ass Turbo sitting P6 is having a very quiet race. He's just crossed the line right there now, and he seems to be struggling at this track. But yeah, just coming around turn 3 right now, but he's a bit of a no man's land. He's not really racing anyone. He's just doing laps. He's not the fastest man on track. He's not the slowest man on track. But what can you do? He knows what he has to do for the championship. It's WMDR Martin that's the man under pressure. Trying to make something out of the championship. Can just sit there. It's probably
a good place for Ass Turbo to be. Just a no man's land. No chance of external pressure or anything happening to cause him to lose this championship. So if he can just keep it going round in P6, that will be enough for him to claim the championship no matter what WMDR Martin does here. But Boys Grinder a bit wide coming out of the S's as they head round turn 13 onto turn 14, and that gap looks like it's got down to just about half a second. So Boys Grinder putting a lot of time into Mozzie here. Could be a couple of laps away from the move.
Lap. Yeah, Boys Grinder's last lap was 0.8 of a second faster, so he is definitely on the move now. that Aston Martin has finally got into its working window, and he is making serious time into the leader.
And looked in the background like Martin's actually making a move on Ultimate Cars, not quite getting anything done there though. Has he got it done? No, he hasn't. That's it's hard to see with these headlights whose car is whose. I just saw a flash of red and blue and thought that Martin had made the move there on Ultimate Cars, but he's tucked back in behind and stays in P4 for now.
Yeah, but yeah, Bowsgrinder absolutely starting to pressurise Mozzie. But can Mozzie hang on? It's a long way to go before the race is over. Can Mozzie hang on to grab his first victory of the season, or will Bowsgrinder take the spoils and maybe take the win that he was probably due to pick up at Laguna?
Yes, definitely going to be an interesting one. Still anyone's game. Any of these top four seem to be the ones in contention right now. As a Bowsgrinder getting right on the tail now of Mozzie as we go on to the start-finish straights. What sort of exit can he get down here? Pretty similar one to Mozzie. Doesn't seem to be gaining too much on him. A little bit of time being gained, but not enough to get anything done into turn one here.
Yeah, and the battle for first and the battle for third is pretty much the exact same battle that we're watching. The time gaps are the same, but it seems that the straights are just a tiny bit too short, and it's all pretty as you were for what we're seeing so far.
Yeah, it seems to be the faster guys are behind, but this seems a real tough track to actually get any moves done here. Bowsgrinder had to get it wasn't a massive dive, but had to pretty much send it into turn one to get the move done on Ultimate Cars. W&Del Martin seems like he's the faster guy on track compared to Ultimate Cars, but just can't find anywhere to get the move done to get around him.
Well, he's right on the back now, and Ultimate Cars is feeling the need to go slightly defensive, but and Martin fakes a move, but then just decides better over it to slip back in.
Yeah, didn't even phase Ultimate Cars, then didn't even flinch for it, so not gonna psych him out that easily as they come round to the last corner. But Martin looking on the inside of the final corner, that move is not gonna work, and he's gonna lose time on the straight now, but it's a good look, but nothing going there as Ultimate Cars holds on to P3.
Yeah, and this is just costing them both time now to the leaders, as the leaders are just slowly starting to eke away. The gap from P3 to P2 has jumped to 3 seconds, whereas last lap it was 1.5. But yeah, the battling and defending that Ultimate Cars was having to do that last corner has cost him a lot. But you can just tell how aggressive Martin has been, because he's really getting quite frustrated now being behind Ultimate Cars. He is getting sick of looking at the back bumper of Ultimate Cars, and yeah, that Ferrari clearly a bit faster looking. But it's just so easy to defend around this track. You literally just have to stay on the racing line, and there's nothing really that the driver behind can do to get past as long as you're on the racing line, and you get a decent exit. But look how close WMDR Martin is now. Ultimate Cars decides to stay on the racing line. WMDR Martin up the inside, has a look, he's got the apex. Oh, but he just can't get the move made. He will be getting so furious at this. This is costing him so much time, but he's still hanging right on behind him as they come into the final corner. They're heavy braking. Martin goes to the inside. Ultimate Cars leaves just enough space, but Martin's still behind as they make the drag down now across the start finish. And surely Martin is on the slipstream. And will he fake a move to try and distract Ultimate Cars into the braking zone in turn one? He goes for a dive. Is there room? But Ultimate Cars just takes the corner and gets to hold on to P3 for now.
Yeah, Martin, you can see how much he's trying here, but just can't get anything done anywhere. He needs to just try and set something up a few corners before. He's just going for it wherever he can instead of lining it up. I think he needs to try and take that final corner a bit smoother instead of trying to get a move in the final corner and then set himself up for turn one. But right now he is just poking and prodding wherever he can to try and get past, and it's just not working for him. And as you say, they're losing even more time now. 5 seconds the gap between P2 and P3, so another second lost for these guys from the lead 2. Martin again in the slipstream, but he's going to look on the inside to the S's, but no, not going to make it around there again. He's just going to tuck in behind again. It's very hard to get it done on the S's as well, because you get the inside for the first one, you're going to have to go around the outside for the second one. So we see, will he go for a move into the final corner again, or will he try and get a better exit? It seems like he's going for a better exit this time. We'll see if this is the lap that he can actually get that slipstream working for him, but pretty short straight, not really long enough to get anything going. He's still 4/10 off, which is a long way to gain back, and it's actually going the wrong way for him in terms of the delta. But we have a new race leader. Bojgrinder has made it around Mozzie. We missed that, unfortunately. Sorry for missing that on camera, but Bojgrinder has made his way through. I believe that looked to be into turn 1 on the lap we just went through.
Yeah, it was into turn 1. We did just miss it. I was trying to keep an eye on the 2 battles that we're watching, but we can't have 2 cameras at the one time. But yeah, that was the new race leader, Bojgrinder. But in other news, well, not really other news, it's with the same drivers. Bojgrinder has racked up a total of 6 seconds of the time penalties, but Mozzie also has 3 seconds. Ultimakazi and WMDL Martin don't have any, so if it stays the way it is, I mean, Ultimakazi would win the race with Martin in second. But yeah, also Asturbo down in P6 is keeping it clean. He doesn't have any, so yeah, it's all to play for right now.
It is indeed. Hopefully now Bojgrinder has made his way through, he can calm it down a bit and keep those penalties to a minimum. Mozzie may pick up a few more if he's pushing hard to try and take that lead position back. But as we go back to Dorian Martin, he's decided to pit. He can't get around on track, so let's see if he can do it in the pit stops. Wonder if he's going to come in for any tyre change, or whether it's just going to be a splash and dash and just try and beat Ultimakazi in the pit lane here.
Yeah, well, WMDL Martin, we all know how good he is at strategies, but let's see if this strategy can win him the championship, or at least put him in contention to win the championship. But yeah, we're currently watching Needlelap sitting P9. Lord I don't know hasn't managed to catch up and pass, so yeah, the 2 Ford drivers are still battling along. JJ in front in P8 has dropped some time, as Needlelap now is slowly starting to close the gap to the Ford driver of JJ.
Yes indeed, and Lord I know in the background there just lunging himself into the pits as well. Maybe he had the same thoughts as WMDL Martin. He can't get around Needlelap on track, so let's try it in the pit lane. And Martin's actually just about, as we see a spin there from, I believe that was JJ, right in front of Needlelap. Unfortunate there for JJ, losing it around turn 2, but seems to have got it going again now. Just ahead of WMDL Martin, who's just come out of the pit lane. I was going to say into some free air, but now he's coming up behind JJ. He's 2 seconds off JJ here. So he's come out in a decent position here, Martin. Plenty enough track for him to put some decent laps in and try and gain that time back and see if he can jump Kaze. Gonna have to wait until Ultimakazi's pit stop. The gap between them right now is about 35 seconds. Looking at that, 35 seconds. So try and keep an eye on that for you and see if that comes down at all. It could allow Martin to make the jump.
Yeah, the master tactician Martin has got a decent chance to now try and close the gap. He's got about 2.5 seconds of free air in front of him, so hopefully he'll be thinking now that JJ realizes that he's not battling him, or JJ even pits early, because Martin really just needs to put on some super fast quality laps right now just to try and close the gap so he can get the undercut on the top 3. But we'll watch some of the other guys at the top 2. We'll jump back to Mozzie, and then we'll just keep an eye on WMDR Martin's lap time to see just how fast he is in comparison to the leaders. But yeah, Mozzie still sitting P2. His last lap was just about a half a second slower than Bojgrinder last lap. He's currently dropped down 2.3 seconds behind the leader. But yeah, so Ultimakazi in P3 is slowly catching Mozzie. I think maybe the tyres are getting a bit old on Mozzie's car as he's starting to drift it into the final corner. He just catches it, getting the power down nice and early. But surely Mozzie must be starting to think about having a pit stop now as this lap time start to jump ever so closer to the 27s, and that's not where you want to be if you're looking for the race lead.
Isn't indeed. His Ultimate Cars is a 1:25.7 on his previous lap, so 1.1 seconds faster than Mozzie, as that gap's going to start closing pretty rapidly here as we reach the halfway stage of this race, lap 19 of 37. So as it stands right now, Boj Grinder is your race leader, 2 seconds lead over Mozzie in P2, and Ultimate Cars is in P3. All three of those are yet to pit, with WMDR Martin down in P8, who has pitted now. Still staying about the same distance behind Ultimate Cars as when he went in, so that's still about a 35-second gap between them. So no time gained yet so far.
Yeah, he's I mean, the tyres could be still getting up to temperature, and if it is, that's not a bad first lap out of the pits, as the tyres are still not up to temp, but he really needs to be constantly in the 25s to, as he drifts that corner, to make an imprint on the podiums sitters. But yeah, at least he's got JJ out of the way nice and early in the stint. But next up will be Needlelap, but Needlelap is almost just under 4 seconds up the road. But yeah, he's got the two Baruda boys. He's got two fast as well in P6.
Does indeed, but they're usually drivers who know that they're not racing. Who they're racing, as you see, they're actually there's a back marker trying to get out of the way, but he is getting out of the way there of WMDR Martin.
That was actually Paul, another Baruda driver. A guy who knows that the Martin is trying to get the championship, and he just does not want to be in his way. But yeah, Paul, it's kind of surprising that he's so far down, because normally Paul does quite well. He's a very talented driver as well, but very unfortunate to see him down in 16th.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where if you don't get any practice in it, it is very difficult to get some lap times out of it. Do need a lot of laps around here to find the right pace and get those lap times down, and if Paul's not done any, then going to be struggling for the rest of this race, as he's sitting in P16, which I believe we've lost someone from the lobby from what I can tell. We're down to 16 drivers, we were on 17.
Well, I don't know about you, but I can still see 17 on my list.
Okay, then you can see more than me, because I can only see the top 16 in my interface. But Crab right now is right on the tail of Exus, as they're battling for P10. Crab going very wide there on the exit of turn 3, but heading down to the turn 4 and the little Kinky,
yeah,
to
Crab
the huge right hand of turn 7 into the chicane here now.
Yeah, it's JJ that just left. Now we're down to 16 drivers. JJ has retired to the pits.
It's unfortunate to see, but if it's not your night, you're better off getting out the way than being not a nuisance, but getting in the way of other drivers and causing upsets in their races. Just get yourself off the track and get ready for next season, because that will be the last time JJ gets to race for this season, given this being the final round, as Crab now tries to get the better exit down the start-finish straight, gaining tons of time now on Exus in the slipstream. Will Exus go defensive? He will. He's staying on the inside of the track here, forcing Crab wide, and that's going to be all he should really need to do to defend that position into turn 1, and he does.
Yeah, fantastic defending there from Exus in the Porsche into turn 1. Crab is a very similar position now to what his teammate WMDR Martin was with in regards to Ultimate Kazi. He's clearly in the faster car and the faster mood as well, but it's just the track that seems to be limiting all the overtakes that we want to see. But yeah, it's going to be see how Crab deals with trying to get past Exus for P9. But as we see in P4, we got GC Raider in the pits, and that promotes Asturbo up to P4. And now Ultimate Kazi has actually caught up to Mozzie in P2, who qualified on pole position, remember, has slowly fallen into the clutches of Ultimate Kazi. and Ultimate Kazi is looking pretty quick with the last couple of laps, and he is currently within 1 second. But let's see how he deals with this Porsche trying to get past. As he hadn't had to do any overtaking tonight so far. He qualified P3 and he's been there all night.
Yeah, and both of these guys are racing for MSR, and so they will know each other. They have raced together quite a lot, so it'll be interesting to see how they take this, whether there will be any inter-team orders or whether it's just going to be some great battling on track between these guys. But you're here to race, whether it's your teammate or not, you are here to race, and Ultimate Kazi gets a slipstream here. It's not going to be enough into turn 1 here now. But he will look towards the inside, but I don't think he's going to make it through there. But Mozzie has gone deep there. Not sure if he let him through or whether Mozzie just missed his braking point, but Kazi does make that move on the inside. So Mozzie just leaving the door wide open there for Ultimate Kazi to come through.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Mozzie well looked to do that, to let him pass, because they're racing for position in the championship. They're not like WMDR Martin and Crab, where they're actually teammates, and Martin can win the championship if he does well tonight, and that's why we saw them swap early on the first lap, swap positions. But yeah, I think it's very strange to see that Ultimate Kazi can pass so easily. But I mean, yeah, that I guess it's good for Ultimate Kazi as it promotes him to P2. Mozzie unfortunately drives down now to P3, but it's still a great position for Mozzie to be in. He's got no pressure from behind.
I guess the flip side of it is if Mozzie does fight with Ultimate Kazi, then he knows that he's got no chance of catching Bojfrans. But if he just lets him through with no dramas and no fighting, then he may be able to stick with Ultimate Kazi, and both of them will chase down Bojgrinder here. But we'll see how that comes after the pit stops. But Bojgrinder currently still in the 25s, even on these tyres so far, so he is in the lead of this race and the fastest guy on track right now. As we go to WMDR Martin, who's still losing a bit of time to Ultimate Kazi. Obviously, WMDR Martin's taken his pit stop, so he is down in P6 at the moment. But we'll have to just wait and see whether Ultimate Kazi takes a longer pit stop at all. That may allow Martin to get back into this race.
Yeah, not exactly sure that the early pit stop is going to be working out for WMDR Martin, but only time will tell. But yeah, we jump back to his teammate Crab, who is still stuck behind the Porsche of Exus. He hasn't been able to catch and pass. But GC Raider has on a fresh set of tyres come out of the pits and has been doing some fantastic laps. His last lap was a 26 flat as they crossed the line together with Crab.
And I think Exus actually lost it, Exus may have lost it in the last corner. It looks like he's trying to return on track now on the start-finish straight, Exus behind. So Exus making a huge mistake there. I think he was into the barrier, which has allowed a few cars down. He's dropped down to P12. But it's unfortunate to see from Exus, but we should jump back to Crab and see what that battle's going on. Don't see any damage on Exus's car, but unfortunate to see. He was holding quite well there in P8 for a while.
Yeah, it's definitely not good news for Exus, but it just comes and goes with racing, unfortunately. It's part and parcel of it. But the interesting man that I'll be keeping an eye on is our P4 guy, Ass Turbo. When will he decide to pit, and where will it drop him to? As if he drops right back into the middle of the pack, surely that could put him at risk of being in more of an incident, and well, be delightful for MDR Martin to see. But I think it'll be quite a spoil for the season for the championship leader. But,
yeah, interesting. Oh, Crab loses it on the last corner.
Into the last corner.
And that's a mistake that you don't want to see happening when you're battling with someone like GC Raider, who's now just disappeared 5 seconds up the road. So Crab, with a unfortunate spin there, drops into P9, and a lot of work to do to try and gain any of that time back.
Yeah, but you could tell that GC Raider was coming. It was just a matter of time to get past Crab, unfortunately. But for Crab, he had the spin coming out of the final corner. As yeah, Exus is currently in the pits now from that crash at the last corner on the last lap there. But yeah, GC Raider on fresh tires. He's just in a quicker car right now. Just had nothing to do with Crab spin, but I think he'd be happy to see Crab spin, but and have nothing to do with it, as he has now he's got some free air and could try to close the gap to Needle Lap in the Ford in P7.
Yeah, I think GC Raider is one of the drivers who's definitely deserved of a podium at some point, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to get it this season. He has shown a lot of potential and a lot of pace, but just not been able to get onto that bottom step of the podium yet. Might be able to do it today if he can keep up some better pace here and see how he gets on. But we go to Ticklish Picklewickle down in P11, so he's actually improved after his early pit stop and assumedly early incident that caused that pit stop. So he's slowly working his way up the field. He's got Gwegwin about 6 seconds up the road here, with about 12 laps left to go. So plenty of time for Ticklish to make up for a few more positions before the end of this race.
Yeah, definitely. He showed that he has got that raw talent of doing some fantastic solid drives at last week when we went to Fuji. But yeah, he's been fantastic all season. Really solid driver. Really impressed with how he's managed this season. As the man that I've been talking about, As Turbo, our championship leader, the man in P4 enters the pits. Let's see where he drops to. There's WMDR Martin. Martin gets past.
Yeah, looking at the deltas, I think he's going to come out about 5 seconds ahead of GC Raider if all goes well for As Turbo here in his pit stop.
Oh, just keep an eye on GC Raider. GC Raider crosses the line, and I do believe I can hear As Turbo on my right ear revving the engine to leave the pits. Yeah, there are two of them as on the pit exit, but GC Raider does get past, so that drops As Turbo down to 8th.
Yeah, so a bit of a long pit stop there for As Turbo. I was judging it by WMDR Martin's pit stop, which was about 30 seconds, but As Turbo's stop there probably cost him about 40 seconds, which has put him a few seconds behind GC Raider here. So he's still got some work to do, sitting in P8, which with the current position of WMDR Martin is not a bad place to be, but he would like a bit more of a safety blanket than just P8 to secure his championship.
Yeah, I think at this point, As Turbo is just thinking, just got to keep it clean and just hope that nothing happens, that there's no incidents that he gets involved in. But WMDL Martin just making the move as up to P4 as Too Fast comes into the pits. So WMDL Martin back into P4, currently 38 seconds behind Mozzie. But remember, the top 3 drivers haven't pitted yet. But I'm not sure that that gap is small enough in order for WMDR Martin to capitalise on the top 3 when they do decide to pit. I think he needs to be a lot closer to the top 3.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but we did see a 40-second pit stop out of As Turbo just now, so it would allow him to jump Mozzie and be fighting, as Ultimate Kaze has actually entered the pit lane this lap, so this will be a good indicator of WMDR Martin's pace here. Ultimate Kaze, seems like people are very early on the pit limiter. I believe it's just around the corner we can actually get on it, so that's maybe where they're losing the time, if they're on the pit limiter a bit early. We'll stay with WMDR Martin now as he comes up towards the S's to the final sector. Ultimate Kaze just about getting to his pit box now.
Martin will be watching the deltas drop as Ultimate Kazi is now driving again. He's out of the pits. He's changed his tires. He is good to go. As he comes across, he is out of the pits. He's getting back up to speed, and WMD Martin comes across the line. I'm not sure it's going to be as close as GC Raider, as there is Ultimate Kazi. Yeah, this is what I expected. Ultimate Kazi still sits P3, and WMD Martin is still in P4.
It's a lot of time there lost from that very early pit stop from WMD Martin. I say very early, it was halfway through the race, but turns out to be may not have been the best decision, as he's lost a good chunk of time now.
Now sorry to cut across you, but now Bosegrinder, our race leader, has decided to pit as well because he doesn't want to lose the time to Ultimate Kazi. He doesn't want to have Ultimate Kazi have too much of an undercut on him. As Mozzie as well starts to pit, so our top three have decided to pit one lap against each other. But yeah, I think WMD Martin will be quite annoyed to see this, that the gap between them, between him and Ultimate Kazi, Mozzie and Bosegrinder has, if anything, just grown as the race has gone on, because we know how fast the Ferrari can be.
Yeah, a lot of work for Martin to do if he wants any chance of the championship here. Also, he still needs Asturbo to drop another position. He's P9 now, Asturbo, so he is falling backwards down the order, but still a big ask. WMD Martin still needs to do the work himself to get him into a top 2 spot to have any chance of winning this championship here. As Mozzie now exits the pit lanes just ahead of WMD Martin, who is just there in your shot.
Yeah, it's going to be super close now for the last 7 laps, as WMD Martin on old tyres. Can he close the gap to Mozzie and maybe just grab a podium out of this race? But I think the win is pretty much out of question unless something happens to the leader. But yeah, WMD Martin is 14 seconds behind the leader, so that's not going to be an easy task, especially on older tyres, because these guys are all on fresh tyres now. But yeah, at least it's nice to see that the top 4 cars has got 4 different manufacturers. We've got the Aston Martin, we've got the Corvette, we've got the Porsche and the Ferrari, and then in P5 we've got the Needle Lab and the Ford. So it's nice to see how balanced this track could actually be.
Yeah, good mix of cars, good mix of manufacturers. That's exactly what GT Racing is all about, getting that balance of power correct and allowing these different philosophies in car design to still battle it out at equal pace on track. So it's a great thing to see, and that's why we love GT Racing.
Yeah, definitely. But now somehow WMD Martin is putting on really nice laps as these guys are trying to get their tyres up to temperature, and WMD Martin will be trying to get this move done as quickly as possible, as the gap is under a second to Mozzie in front in P3. With 6 laps remaining, can WMD Martin grab a trophy out of this race? The bottom step of the podium. But I mean, it was an outside chance that he could win the championship. He needed Asturbo to have an absolute shocker of a race. But speaking of Asturbo, he's sitting down in P9 right now, so anything could happen right now. This isn't a foregone conclusion, this championship. Asturbo is really struggling right now.
He is, but I do believe that Needle Lap and Gwegwin may still need to pit here in front of him, so that may gain him a couple of positions back up the order. But he is on the edge, as you say. He is. He's not fully there and in a really safe place. If he does finish P10 and WMD Martin somehow gets the win, who has actually got round Mozzie now. We missed that action on track, apologies, but Martin has moved up to P3. And is now going to start that chasing down of Ultimate Kazi, doing all he can to try and keep any dreams of a championship alive.
Yeah, sorry about that there. I just got a bit lost when watching Asturbo. But, oh! It's Ultimate Kazi's lost it at the first turn. And WMD Martin tries to take it inside. As the Ultimate Kazi just hanging on to P2 here. But
yeah.
this is exactly what WMDR Martin will be wanting. He'll be wanting to get as much points out of this, as he knows that Turbo is struggling right now. And from P2 to P4, there is literally nothing between them.
Yeah, suddenly it's all just come alive in the closing stage of this race. Just 5 laps left, with a rare mistake from Ultimate Cars has allowed these 3 to really bunch up and battle it to the end. WMDR Martin, the man who's sitting P2 in the championship, is the one that will be pushing the hardest, I think, to try and get anywhere you can. If you're just joining us and you don't know the situation, Martin needs to finish first or second, and As Turbo needs to finish below the top 10. And in some combination of that, it will allow WMDR Martin to win the championship. And as it stands, Martin's in P3 and As Turbo is in P9. So it's on the brink, and anything can still happen in these closing stages. It's anyone's game, and it's still all to play for. Martin just has to do the best he can in the situation he has.
Yeah, this is almost like watching Lewis Hamilton win his first championship. When Master crossed the line, he was the world champion, but as Lewis crossed or came out into the last corner, he was able to pass Glock and get just the amount of points that he needed to clinch his first world championship. This is the exact same scenes that we're watching almost unfold right in front of our eyes right now.
Yeah, it was going into turn 1. Is that Kaze? And it was Kaze spun in turn 1, but Martin not quite getting the move done there, around there, so he's going to have to still battle for it on track here. He hasn't managed to gain much time. Nowhere really he's managed to make a move into turn 1. It looked like he had a look, but nothing going, so it's the awkward position now for this position off Ultimate Kaze.
Yeah, the thing is, if he doesn't go for it, he's lost it. But if he has to put himself in a position to go for it, like, you know, to at least try and get the championship. So surely that's, you know, both your heart and your head saying you gotta go for it. There's no reason to not go for it. Like, you may as well put it in the wall trying than to, you know, to just stay where you are.
Yep, he will just have to go for it, but there's no opportunities arising right now. See, Needlab has entered the pit lane, so that may be a position gain for As Turbo, which will give him a bit more confidence in securing this championship. But Kaze actually put a bit of a gap now on WMDR Martin. He's sent it fully sideways into turn 3. So that's actually allowed Mozzie to get right on his tail here, going down towards turn 4.
Yeah, but you mentioned earlier that Guegwin still needs to pit. I do believe him and Ticklish pitted together on the first lap, so I do believe that Needlap is the last of the pitters. So yeah, that's As Turbo, that's all his free positions done for pit strategy wise, so he currently sits on that P8, but yeah, it's still anyone's game in this championship. Ticklish just overtaken Needlelab there for P9 right now, but yeah, the battle for P2 is incredibly close right now as we watch WMDR Martin with only 3 laps remain try and close in on Ultimate Kaze to grab P2, but Mozzie in the background with the Porsche, the on fresh tyres, is putting Martin under pressure as well. And the only man that's not under pressure right now is the leader, Grinder, who's 18 seconds up the road from P2.
Yeah, I can't finish this race without mentioning Grinder and the fantastic pace he's shown here tonight. He didn't have the greatest starts, but after a bit of patience and a couple of good overtakes into turn 1, he got himself into the lead and just managed to extend that lead for the remainder of the race. So got himself a good cushion of 19 seconds here, just needs to bring it home in the final 3 laps.
Yeah, definitely. Those overtakes were like essential to putting himself into position to win the race. But I think it was that outstandingly fast pit stop that definitely helped get him the gap that he needed, so he's able to relax and put these 3 and amongst each other battling. As these 3 are currently in the 27s doing lap times, and Grinder, even though he's in free air, is still pulling a gap. He's a full second a lap faster than P2 right now.
Yeah, Bertrand just really settled in and really comfortable right now, but someone who isn't comfortable is going to be any of these three guys here. I think Mozzie may have realised with his time penalties that he doesn't really have a horse in this race, so kind of just leaving Kaze and WNDL Martin to battle it out here. Bertrand, I assume, doesn't have... Bertrand does have 20 seconds of penalties. Now that changes everything.
That is exactly why he's pushing. That is exactly why he's pushing so hard, as Ultimate Kazi can still win the race right now, and can WMDR Martin.
They can
Grinder is
indeed.
pushing like hell, and that is why.
Yeah, something definitely to keep an eye on, because it's just on the edge. It may keep Grinder on the podium as it stands with Mozzie just outside that window, but Mozzie, of course, with his own penalties too, will push him further back, but the top three of this race is definitely not decided, as Mozzie has just spun round there. He gets it back going again, but that will drop him down and cement his loss from the top three. But that has allowed Martin now to maybe get a bit more aggressive on Ultimate Kaze, knowing that Mozzie's pressure is not there anymore as we go towards the final lap of the race. We've got a couple more corners left to start this final lap. Can Martin close that gap down and get anything done? He hasn't seemed to be close ever since Ultimate Kaze's spin. I think Martin's actually struggling on these older tyres to get any sort of pressure that he needs going into this final lap here now.
Yeah, Martin is just on the cusp of being 20 seconds. These two drivers in P2 and P3 do not have any time penalties. Grinder, your race leader, has 20 seconds of a time penalty. So he has to clear them by 20 seconds come the end of this lap, because this is the final lap of the season. Never mind the race, but the season. Grinder has half a lap to pull a couple of tenths just to ensure the victory, or will it be pulled from under his feet by Ultimate Kaze?
Delta fluctuating in and out of that 20.
Incredibly tight.
Well, we've had exciting races every race this league. This is proving no different as well. Grinder coming around this S's for the last time, up towards turn 13.
Yeah, we'll grab him for the last corner. Grinder comes across the line. Is it enough to grab the victory? He's pushing like hell. He's doing absolute quality laps the last couple of laps. He crosses the line. We don't know if it's enough to win the race or not. Will Ultimate Kaze take the victory or not, or will Martin even be within the gap as well of 20 seconds? Can the two of them get across the line to finish P1 and P2, or has Grinder done enough? Ultimate Kaze drives for the line. He knows it's within his grasp. Can he do it? It's not enough. Grinder has done it. Has done enough. Your race winner Grinder has just done enough. Ultimate Kaze in P2. And WMDR Martin in P3, and that is a finish that we will remember for an incredibly long time.
That was a fantastic finish.
Pick it up P4.
Even though there's 20 seconds between them, they were still racing on track for the for that time penalty that Grinder picked up, but managing to hold on just at the end. I'm excited to see what that delta is going to be in the score sheet once everyone finishes this race. Gwegwin coming off the line there in P6, Crab picking up P7. That's a great finish there for Gwegwin. Let's not ignore that one. That's a fantastic finish for Gwegwin.
And there is Ass Turbo, your championship winner, your GTE champion of Season 1 of AOR, Ass Turbo.
Yeah, pretty uneventful race for Ass Turbo, but all he needed to do was just hold on to a top 10 finish to secure his victory here today. But your race winner is Grinder, well deserved and finally earned by Grinder. Actually managed a 2-second gap there after penalties to Ultimate Kaze, and WNDL Martin picking up P3. Not enough for the championship, but another bronze medal to his collection from this season. Puts him up to 4 third places. Mozzie did a fantastic drive, getting himself on pole, finishing P4. GC Raider picking up P5. Gwegwin picking up P6. Ass Turbo promoted to 6th place after the penalty, 7th place after the penalty to Crab, who has dropped to 8th. Ticklish Picklewickle managing a top 10 finish after a pretty poor qualifying from him, so fantastic finish for Ticklish. Needlelap rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, and then in P11 we got another Bermuda driver, Too Fast. And then in P12 we got Crumb and one of the Fords, and we got Exus and the other Porsche. And P13 we got Balharia in 14th. We got Paul, the other Ford driver of the Bermuda boys, in 15th, and we got JJ in 16th. But that was a fantastic finish, and I've never had to watch the clock so much to see who was going to be winning the race. Normally you'd see it done on track, but tonight, hey, there's always a first for everything, and this season has definitely proven that these guys know how to put on a show, and they are some of the best drivers that the world can provide for our entertainment, and it was absolutely fantastic to watch tonight.
It was indeed, and the fastest lap award actually going to Crab tonight with a 1:25.1. So he definitely had the pace, but unfortunately when you pick up 17 seconds of penalty and have a few spins, it just doesn't convert to points. But what a season we had today, and what a race that was to finish it all off. That was one of the best seasons I've seen in Project Cars 2. Just the racing every week was so tight, so close and fair, and it was just fantastic to see from these drivers.
Yeah, but that's what you get from the best drivers in AOR. This is a fantastic community, and it brings drivers from all over the world. So it's not really something. I'm not really surprised when it comes to the caliber of the driving. I mean, some of the moves that was made, I could only dream of doing some of them because they were absolutely fantastic to see.
It was indeed. I think the highlight for me would be W&D Martin around the outside at Laguna Seca was definitely one to watch. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch the opening laps of Laguna Seca of this season and just see Martin pull a masterclass of a move.
Yeah, definitely a huge highlight for me as well was that move. But I mean, there are so many highlights; it's hard to remember them all. And but I mean, it's just been a fantastic season. And yeah, congratulations to As Turbo for picking up the championship. We're very quiet tonight. We didn't get to see much of him, but he just knew what he had to do, and he just went about his business and did it.
Yeah, I believe As Turbo taking the championship here tonight. WNDR Martin will secure that second, and Ultimate Kaze will jump Valeside to pick up third place in the championship. Unfortunately, Valeside not with us tonight to try and fight that, so yeah, that rounds out our top three of the championship. As we wait for anyone wanting to come in for interviews, no one yet at the moment, so we'll keep talking about how great this season was and how enjoyable it was to commentate alongside you. It was a great experience, and hopefully we'll be invited back for more, as we do now have some people in. So let's
don't stop the.
We are stopping there. We are stopping there, JP. We are bringing in Bojrans, our race winner, with a commanding lead at the end, but got a bit tense with the time penalties. So congratulations on the win, Bojrans. How was that for you?
Thank you. Well, finally a victory. That felt really good. Immense pressure the last 10 to 15 laps. It was so close, and then went to the pits and got a 10-second penalty. Entered the pit too fast, I think, and it actually worked out quite well, so very happy with that.
Yeah, it seemed that you had the pace tonight for sure, but obviously it must have been quite a shock when you come out with that time penalty and having to push at the very end there. Some great moves into turn one. Was that seemed to be the only real place that you thought you'd have a chance to get any moves done, or were there other places on track which seemed that some overtaking could get done?
No, definitely turn one. I think Dirty Air was really bad at this track, so it was very hard to get close enough to fight on the rest of the track. So definitely turn one, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. That was a great drive by you. We saw some fantastic moves on Mozzie and Ultimate Kaze to get to where you were, and as you say, a very well-deserved win for you tonight. And any highlights from you from this season?
Oh yeah, quite a few actually. I think Laguna Seca was probably the most intense race. And and also Fuji was great. So yeah, the whole season has been great, but Laguna Seca is the best one, I would say.
Yeah, it's great watching you, and we've really enjoyed commentating over you guys and providing some fantastic racing. These GTEs proving to be real good for some close racing between everyone. And congratulations on that win that you so very well deserved. And I think it was 5th overall by my calculations. It may have been 6th, I'm not entirely sure, but 5th or 6th in the championship from my quick maths. So not a bad finish after 2 disconnects. So great job, and hopefully we'll see you for the next Project Cars 2 League, whatever that may be.
Oh yeah, definitely, and thanks a lot for excellent commentating. You guys are pros, really are. And,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay, take care then. See you for the next one.
Thank you.
Take care, we'll see you next time. Thank you, Bosch, your race winner. Next up, let's do something a bit different. Let's bring them in as a pair. We have our 2nd and 3rd place finishers here, Ultimate Kaze and WNDR Martin. We'll start with you, Ultimate Kaze, whose name I pronounced wrong the entire league, but I've stuck with it all the way through. How was that battle for you with WNDR Martin in the closing stages after your spin at turn 1?
Well, I think I certainly enjoyed it more than Martin did, probably. It's really hard to pass here, and yeah, I just had to park the car on the apex to stay in front, but it really was a thrill. I'm sweating like all over, but it was a really nice race for me.
Yeah, it's great to see you. And Martin, same to you. Were the tyres a bit worn by that stage when you could actually put a battle to Ultimate Kaze?
Tires were pretty much the same the entire race, but honestly, that was probably the most unenjoyable race I think I've ever had. Like, I enjoyed crashing more than I enjoyed that race.
Yeah, we could tell just how much you were pushing before your pit stop to try and get past, and we were trying to like figure out like how soon you were going to try and pit, and then it seemed after the pit stop you just you couldn't seem to get the lap times to try and get the undercut on the guys for the top 3. But
yeah, I mean, it was for the entire first stint I was basically tailgating the front guys, and especially in the second sector I was practically hitting them through some of the corners. So then I figured, all right, well, if I pit for clean air, then I'll be able to take that sector normally and be faster. But then, as it turns out, this car has absolutely no pace in clean air for some reason. So eventually, they ended up pitting maybe like 4 or 6 seconds ahead of me, and then I caught up to them again. And yeah, suddenly my pace was back. But yeah, you're stuck behind people at this honestly awful track for GT cars. I just couldn't pass, and even when Kaze spun in the first corner, he's basically on the apex, so there's nothing you can do. And every single like corner that you're super close behind, it's just not a passing place. And as soon as you do arrive at an overtaking zone, your exit's ruined because of the layout of the corner.
Yeah, it was unfortunate to see that there wasn't much overtaking going on tonight, but I think even if you did manage to get further up, As Turbo finished 7th, so it wasn't going to push you any further up in the championship. But I think you have to be quite happy with the P2 overall in the championship, Martin.
Yeah, P2 overall is definitely better than I expected. So some rivals did drop out, which was a bit of a bummer, but overall it was a good fight with Turbo and Kaze and Buggerfronts in general. But yeah, it's just I'm extra bummed about this race because I had 3 third places, 2 second places, was playing to make this one the first place, and honestly I had a really decent chance because on my last qualifying lap I was 4/10 up with like 3 or 4 corners to go, and then just went straight into the wall, which killed my chances from the start.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. It seems like qualifying very important here today, but Ultimate Kaze, I should say.
That's perfect.
Managing to get up to P3 in the championship, jumping Valeside, who wasn't with us tonight, even after dropping the first round at Watkins Glen. Got to be quite happy with that finish overall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really enjoyed the league. I wasn't expecting to finish that high up, and I also was picking the Corvette, which was definitely not my comfort pick. I was usually faster with mid-engine cars like the Ferrari or the Ford, which I think also had a decent pace advantage here. like on the overall amount of tracks. So yeah, I'm absolutely happy, and I really enjoyed driving in this league, especially with my MSR mates and also with Martin, Ace Turbo, and so on. So it was fun as always.
Yeah, it was fantastic to commentate over you. It was you all provided the best racing that we've seen in a long time in sim racing. It was never a dull moment in any of the races. So kudos to you guys for providing the action on track.
Absolutely feel flattered. Really awesome job on commentary, by the way, especially on Laguna Seca and so on. That was amazing.
Thank you very much. But one final parting question. Next league, what are you hoping for? What cars do you hope to see for the next league?
Slow cars.
I would like touring cars. This was actually my first league ever, and as the racing is so close, and you can really have some contacts passing as well without spinning out, like the Megane and the BMW 320, I think, or something.
Honestly,
those are amazing cars.
Oh, I don't know for me, because I don't know why, but like especially in touring cars, I'm just always like 1 to 2 seconds off the pace in those things. I don't know if it's the pad or what, but it's just I can't drive them for some reason.
So basically, as long as it's slow, we'll be all right. Something like maybe Ginetta series or so.
Oh yeah, I love those.
That would be great to see. But congratulations on your finishes tonight. That was a second for Ultimate Kaiser and third for WMDR Martin, and the flip side for the championship. So Martin picking up P2 in the championship and Ultimate Kaiser P3 in the championship. Congratulations, and we'll hope to see you next time.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
I believe we managed to clinch the team standings as well, right?
You may have. We haven't followed the team standings, we'll be honest, but looking at the positions, you and Crab are quite high up the order. I think you would have been like a P2 and a P8 overall. So looking at the other teams, the closest probably would have been Valeside, but Needlelap finished quite far down the order compared to you. So I'm going to unofficially say that you are the team champions, Martin. So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Yeah, so you can't be too downhearted about that, Martin. At least you're picking up a trophy, the winning trophy for that. So at least congratulations for that, anyways.
Cheers.
All right, thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you around.
Good night.
Bye.
And last but not least, of course, we should bring in the one and only organizer of this all, that makes all this happen every league, every season, and puts in so many hours of work. Ticklish Pickle Wickle. Let's start with your race first of all. How was the race for you after a pretty disappointing qualifying, I'd say?
Yeah, quali was definitely a little bit disappointing. I kind of realized, I think after I did like three fast laps, and I was like way off the pace. And I couldn't seem to get any heat in my tires, so I switched to the softs in the quali, and I gained about I gained 3 seconds on the one lap, but unfortunately it was invalidated, so I kind of kept my hard tires time there, so that's why I started so far back. So yeah, not a good starting position, of course. Then I lost one position, I think due to maybe being a bit too careful, but I guess, I mean, it was Oschersleben turn 1, so did have to take a little bit of care to not end my race on lap 1. So yeah, I was P16, and then basically I just went, because on the default setup we start with hard tires. Everyone started with hard tires, and it was very cold, and I figured like I couldn't get any heat into them in the qualifying, and it was even colder in the race. So I was like, I may as well just put the softs on immediately. So I did that. I went into the pits on lap 1. I think with Gwegwin, we were the only 2 guys who pitted on lap 1, I believe. At least like from what I could see from my point of view. So yeah, I figured spending the extra 10 seconds on the tire stop was worth it when I could do 2-3 seconds a lap faster than I could on the hards. So yeah, most of the race was kind of alone. I didn't really have many to race with, but I think I can officially say that I made the biggest undercut that I've ever done in my whole league racing career. I entered the pits in P16, and once all the pit rounds was over, I ended up in P9. So I basically undercut 7 positions So
That's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah,
A track like
uh,
Oschersleben was impossible to overtake on track. Getting the undercut to work, especially for that many places, is all you could really ask for here.
yeah. So just yeah. I mean, all things considered, the result was very good. So yeah, I did have one spin. So and I think I was pretty close to Ass Turbo, and I think maybe if I didn't have that spin, I would have been able to fight with him at the end there. But it is what it is. I'm still very happy with the P9. So all things considered, not a very interesting race, but a lot of indirect overtakes from the undercuts. So I'm definitely happy with the result.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should be, man. But I think, as you were saying, like As Turbo, you were catching him. I think he was seemed to be struggling as well for pace. We're not sure what tires he was on, but I think a lot of people were struggling for pace tonight. So you weren't the only one, but you definitely. I think I said towards the start of the race that you were one of my top picks for the season. Like most, I'm not going to say most improved, but I can't remember how we put it at the start of the race. But you were definitely one of the drivers to watch out for. But yeah, definitely you did a fantastic job during the season. It was really, really good to see you.
Yeah, I think that converted to a P5 in the championship overall. So a top 5 finish in the championship, you can't be too unhappy with that.
That's definitely more than what I had hoped for. So I'm I'm very happy indeed with that one. So yeah, I think most of my I mean my pace in this game is definitely not bad, but I still believe where I shine is keeping out of trouble and not making mistakes. And for the most part, I definitely did that for the races. And I think I had consistently good results, bar Alton Park where I didn't do as well, unfortunately. But all the other races I had like consistently good results, and I definitely believe that's what got me the P5 in the end. So pure pace is not always the answer.
Yeah, definitely shows, and definitely showed at Fuji as well. You just kept your nose out of trouble and picked up a podium there. So definitely worked for you this season, and congratulations on the P5. But moving on to more league organising side of things, what is the what's currently in your mind for what's next for AOR in Project Cars 2? What can people get excited for?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, putting you on the spot. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. If you want to keep your cards close to the chest.
No. I mean, I can. It's not. But I mean, obviously, I don't want to make people expect that this is gonna happen or this is gonna happen. But I can definitely. We've like considered maybe some LMP racing next season. We've also been talking about maybe revisiting the Formula Rookies because we know that the racing in those cars are really, really good. But we also kind of have since there's so many unraced classes on this game, we kind of have the philosophy that we do want to like keep on doing leagues with like new stuff. But obviously we want to keep the drivers happy as well, and we know some people are asking for us to revisit the United Juniors and the Formula Rookies and all that stuff. So that's definitely also on the cards. I wouldn't really say there's something that isn't on the cards, but that's kind of where we've been looking so far. So like LMP racing, maybe we go down to LMP3 because people thought that like LMP2 were a bit too fast and a bit too downforcey. So we maybe go down to LMP3 if we end up doing LMPs. And then, of course, as I said, like Formula Rookie, Ginetta Junior, maybe Formula Renault we've also looked at. That's also a very nice car to drive in the game. Obviously, also a very downforce heavy car, so that's some people don't like that. But yeah, like in general, we're not really shut off from anything. I mean, and we will definitely listen to the driver feedback at the end of the season and listen to what they want to drive. And if we have something that is just completely seems to be very popular, and even if people want to do this very class again, we may even look at that. So the options are open, and we're definitely looking for some driver feedback as well, so we can get some inspiration and listen to what people want, and so we can make the best next season possible.
Well, that's good to hear, because you got my vote for a NASCAR league, because I would love to commentate over a NASCAR league.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's in the game, so like, that's kind of the philosophy we had. Like, we want to kind of showcase the whole catalog of content, as we've been doing GT3 for so many seasons. It's not a bad class at all, of course, but there are so many other awesome cars in this game that we want to showcase. So like, NASCAR is also not off the cards. If there are a bunch of people who want to do NASCAR, it's definitely a possibility.
You've just made me a very happy man.
But, yeah, I think that wraps everything up for this league and this season. Thank you, Ticklish, for being the mastermind behind it all and making it all run as smoothly as it has. And thank you for allowing me and JP to talk at our computer screens for a few hours every night. So it's been a pleasure to do, and hopefully we'll see you again next time for another league.
Yeah, Ticklish has been absolutely fantastic, and I'd just like to say thanks for the opportunity as well, because I don't think I would have ever been a commentator if it wasn't for yourself giving me and Kiki the opportunity, as it's always been a dream of mine to commentate, but like, this is hopefully the first step of something. But yeah, so I'd just like to say thanks when I have you here now.
Yeah, and I mean, I also want to say thank you to you guys. I mean, it's great to like watch the stream back, especially for those like really tense races. It's been great listening to you guys, and also you've come a long way from when you started. You're getting better every race, so it's great. And I also see now that even one of the super moderators from AOR has also been watching the seasons, and he's been liking it. So that must mean that you are somewhat decent at doing what you do. So no, I mean, it's been great. And I mean, not only is it great for the drivers, it also creates like publicity for the league, and it gets people interested. Like, there may be people watching the streams on YouTube coming over and actually taking part because it looks fun. So yeah, massive contribution from you guys, even if it's just been sitting in front of a screen and screaming at it. It's making a difference, both for the drivers and for other drivers who may potentially be interested. So thank you very much as well.
That's quite all right. We definitely enjoy it. It's been easy to do it with the caliber of drivers that's been on the grid this season and past seasons as well. But yeah, so thank you, and for everything you've done, and for some fantastic racing this season. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. And with that, we will start closing down and some finishing things. So congratulations to the race winner tonight, Bojfrans, or Bojgrinder as he's known in game at the moment, followed by Ultimate Kaze and WNDR Martin rounding out the podium. And to our championship winner is As Turbo, just pipping WNDR Martin at the post there, managing to claim P2, and Ultimate Kaze picking up P3 after that performance in the final race. So a great season, a great league, and hopefully we'll be back soon for another AOR Project Cars 2 league. JP, the floor is yours for your final words.
Well, honestly, I'd just like to say thanks to all the drivers, to be honest, and to all the viewers as well. All the people that have been watching and writing in comments, and even if you haven't been writing in comments, it's just been nice to have the support. It's nice to know as well that have like some of the super mods watching and liking our stuff. But like, me and Kiki really enjoyed doing this, and it's not even been like a chore to do this. I mean, I come home from work and I look forward to doing this with Kiki, and it's just been a pleasure to watch the caliber of drivers that we get to commentate it over. It's been fantastic, and yeah, who else to do it better with than my fellow Celtic brother Kiki Mac?
Oh, thank you very much. It has been great. And with that, we will say thank you and have a good evening. And we'll see you next time at AOR. Good night.
Good night.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.